What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 29, a very special edition of If We Ran Nintendo. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by one of the greatest co-hosts in all of podcasting, Sean Capri.
Justin Masson. Oh, it's me. Thank you. That was very nice. Bobby, today is a day. Today is a day. I'm so pumped. They did it. They did it. Bobby.
Now, we are joined by another great co-host of podcasting, Justin Masson. What is up, Justin?
What's going on, guys? I am stoked to be back to talk about what happened today. I mean, I thought the Red Dead Redemption trailer was fantastic.
Yeah. Never heard of it. And leave it to you. Leave it to you to go there. So, Justin's going to stick around for about 15 minutes or so. He's actually in the airport, so you're going to hear some noises in the background. We apologize for that, but he's basically. What are you? You're laying over, getting ready to do a connecting flight.
Yeah, I'm in Toronto right now, getting ready to head home to Calgary. So I thought I'd jump on this call.
Nice. So guys, we got it, man. We finally got what everybody's been asking for. We've kind of been coy and like, we can wait. Was it what you were expecting? That's what I want to know right off Jump Street.
Yes and no. I didn't think, I think the biggest shock that I heard was the third parties, the partners they've got on board. I think there's so much in the 4-minute trailer. Like, I was expecting almost just like here's the device, see you later. I was expecting someone to say something. It was literally like a 4-minute commercial, which was freaking amazing. I didn't see that one coming. I'm pumped. I think it looks great. It looks a little bit actually like our sketch we did 2 episodes ago for Nintendo Dads. Like, it's not too far off.
Yeah.
I'm pumped. It looks amazing. I was on an airplane today and I was like, in 6 months when I get on an airplane, I'm gonna play the NX. I'm gonna sit down like that guy with a kickstand. But it was funny because the stewardess came by today. She's like, "Oh, you're playing your 3DS. What are you playing?" And I was like, Pokemon.
Not what I want to be playing. I want to be playing Breath of the Wild, lady, but I'm going to be playing this for a little bit.
Exactly.
So I said earlier today that Nintendo did in 3 minutes and 37 seconds what Sony couldn't do in over an hour, and that's create chaos and hype through the roof. Like, all these people that have been saying for all this time, like, we need this big presentation, we need this stage performance, we need this, No, we don't. Because guess what? Everybody was a naysayer. Everybody, whether you were good, bad, indifferent in your comments today, everybody was talking about NX. And, Switch now. We got to name it Switch.
Right,
dude, I don't know how anybody can complain, but we know that there are people that are complaining. But that's not the point. Today is hype level 9,000. Like, I'm through the roof, man.
It's over 9,000
right now.
Okay, so for me, like, I was sitting at my computer, I had my browser on the the Nintendo website, I had the little screen up, and it wasn't flipping over. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. And I went back over to Twitter, and I saw a couple things that say introducing the Nintendo Switch. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Nintendo's announcing some sort of new program as well today. Like, it didn't click. Like, I had such a weird, like, I didn't realize that that's what it was. So I fired it up. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. Like, I should have had some sort of reaction video because I didn't know that I was just going to kind of check out the Switch thing before I found out what the NX was. I don't know what, maybe I was expecting them to say, like, this is the NX. Yeah. But holy crap, I was on the edge of my seat and I just kept getting like kind of higher and higher. I think I ended up just standing because my muscles sort of just started standing. I didn't even realize what was happening.
Where are we going?
Yeah. I like the name. I like all the marketing around it. It's snappy. I was saying a whole bunch of places today. I think the name they've gotten away from the weird Wii, Amiibo, Miitomo, like very Japanese kind of weird thing. I like that it's very, this might sound selfish or whatever, but it's Western focused. It's simple for us to understand. Yeah. It's tactile. It's like the name Switch. You get the idea of what you're going to do with this thing. It's quick. I really just quite like the name. The design, I think it's a gorgeous device from what I can see. And just 1,000 different ways to use this thing without it looking like a toy. I think that the industrial design here is something that is quite remarkable. And there's going to be, from what we can see, just 1,000 different ways to interact with it, whether it's with the controllers attached to it. I was actually very surprised to see the controllers slide off, but still act as a controller. That scene where he props it up in the airplane and he's kind of sitting back and he's a very similar position to what we all did back in the Wii days with the Wii remote and the nunchuck, kind of just like your hands very free, not kind of controlled, kind of in the middle with a controller. And then the Pro controller kind of thing comes out. And I'm sorry, but I'm jumping all over the place. But the Pro controller looks industrial.
Sean comes to me this afternoon. He's like,
what's the structure?
We need structure. We need notes. We need this. And I go and I create this whole list, and you're jumping all over the board. Okay. Calm down.
I apologize. I'm a little worked up, Bobby.
You're losing your moniker of greatest co-host in podcasting. I'm starting to be upset with you now. So how long do we got? So how long before we stop calling it Switch and we just call it Nintendo S? Because I think I think that's basically where it's going to wind up going. Either people are just going to call it Switch, or they're just going to say Nintendo S. I mean, that was the biggest, I think, complaint that I was seeing was people complaining about the name. I don't mind the name. I like the name. I think the name works. Because it was funny because I told my wife the name earlier. I'm like, they're calling it Switch. And she's like, what is that? Makes no sense. I'm like, you got to watch the trailer. You watch the trailer, it'll make sense. And she watched the trailer, and it was like, every time, click, click, click. And she was like, I get it now. Like, I got it. I understand. And like, if she's not a gamer and she gets it, for anybody that says that people aren't going to get it are just silly, really. I think they definitely have some work to do ahead of themselves with the marketing, but I think they're right on pace.
I heard some people talking about how it was like too on the nose or it made it sound like a gimmick, and I think that's nonsense. I think PlayStation and Xbox already own the numbers, so that wasn't really an option for them. But I think this is great. Sorry.
Yeah, I think they needed a level of clarity in their naming convention. I think they really got that. Just very easily when you hear the word Switch, you're having visions of what that kind of means. And I think it was really brilliant, actually. So I think it's very clear marketing, it's simple, and it does that functionality. So I think it's great. I actually really like it.
Yeah, I do too. And I think that's why, like, and you know what? Here's something that happened today, and I thought this was kind of cool. Like, a coworker I work with who has PlayStation, he had a Wii U. I got him to get a Wii U, and then he switched over to PlayStation, and then he goes, I'm ready to switch. I'm ready to switch back to Nintendo. That's exactly what he said.
Switch.
And I was like, boom, this is perfect, because they're going to use that marketing. They're going to use that in future commercials and go, are you ready to switch back to Nintendo? And
yes,
the minute they do that stuff, it's like, we got them. I mean, if they go aggressive with that type of campaign, I'm excited. And that could be what they're looking to do, but that's what I would do wholeheartedly. Like, I would just flood it with, are you ready to switch? And
it's a very versatile word for this. It works on so many levels. It switches back and forth between like console and handheld. Are you ready to switch? You switch the controllers out. I mean, it makes so much sense. I think even more so than the Xbox One, which was supposed to be kind of like all in one. Like, you want to talk about bad names.
Yeah, exactly.
It's right up there.
Now, Justin, let me ask you, the controller. Now, let's start with the one controller. We're going to call it the Switch controller, and that's basically the two sticks where you can either play with it or you can attach it to the screen. What's your thoughts on this thing? What are you feeling with this?
I like the fact that there's like a mid-bass section, and that's where it slides into. Then they're not interconnecting just themselves.
Yes.
So it's got a little bit more depth for people with like that have meatier hands, like us, kind of bigger. I think it makes it feel more solid and more like an actual controller. So I think that's brilliant. I love the fact that then those pieces can be almost like standalone Wii controllers.
Yes.
Very similar to that idea. I think that's great. I love the fact that you can go from, you can be playing a game with, and there's a picture of the person in an airplane where he's sitting back and he's got it propped up like a TV. And he's doing that with one hand, left and right, not together, but separate. And then the fact that you can also then switch over to the Pro controller. Now, they have a different name for the Pro controller. It's actually in the press release. I'll have to pull it out, but it is different.
Yeah.
They don't call it like the Switch Pro controller. But I love the options they provided. I think it's really brilliant. The one thing I didn't see that I was expecting to in relation to controller interface was actually something that it was going to be a touch screen. At no point it appeared to be a touch screen, which I thought was a very interesting component.
Especially with especially with Splatoon, when they showed Splatoon being played, I thought this is where they're going to touch the screen, but they didn't. They didn't do any of that, and I thought, okay, we're going to play Splatoon without touchscreen. Which, listen, if it's not touchscreen, I'm fine with it not being touchscreen. It's not going to make or break me. I'm not going to be upset. I don't know what touchscreen does to battery life. If that's more drain on things.
Well, I would assume.
Yeah. So that's why I'm not 100% really upset with that maneuver. Like, I'm okay with them more or less just saying, like, hey, this isn't touchscreen. This is where you go. I did see some people, I think, Sean, you retweeted or you replied to somebody today, a woman that was saying that she believes that it's going to be touchscreen. But
yeah.
But I don't.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to jump in and say equally what was in this trailer is just as important as what was not in this trailer. And so this being one of the things that was not in the trailer doesn't necessarily mean that that's not part of the device, but it's what they want us to focus on. Yeah. There were no kids, there were no families, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's not what this is for. There was no touchscreen. But that's the part. I'm sorry. That's the part that really. I'm sorry. That's the part that really got me. That I focused and I went, they're going a different direction, because all leading up, it was they're going back to families, they're going back to kid friendly, and I didn't see that at all. Yeah, like when I looked at it, it was, here's young adults playing this thing, and it was cool. Like, hey, come over, we're having a party over here. You don't have to stop doing what you're doing. Come on over and turn it into a bigger party. And then when the two guys jumped in the back seat, like, they told you this is for your kids without telling you it's for the kids, because they attached the screen to the back of the one seat and they're playing together at the same time. And I'm like, this is ingenious. This is really ingenious.
Yeah, I definitely from a parenting perspective kind of saw that. Like, it was definitely a different marketing campaign. Yeah. But even the machine's color schemes, right? It's a darker gray, it's a dark black almost. We saw it functionally in that, you had in the back of the car, you're going around with your mates, you had them on a flight. There is definitely kind of a move away from that. But this may be like phase one in this campaign, and the next commercial we might see more aimed at children, right? Yeah. It is possible for sure. Sorry, Sean, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, that was going to be my point, is that Nintendo is showing in its marketing today a little focus. You need to go after us, the hardcore people. You need to go after hardcore gamers first, because they're the ones who are likely going to be picking it up on day one. We're the ones who are going to pre-order it and buy it first day, bring it home, and then tell all of our friends about it. You're not able to convince the majority, the mass market here. They convince us that we want to buy it, and then we evangelize it for everybody else. So I think that was a huge step forward for Nintendo, and it's a big reason I'm reading a lot into this. But I believe in this Nintendo because they've shown real focus.
They've showed we've been listening to you. That's what I take from all this. Because if you go back and you look at all, and I'm not saying that they got people sitting in Facebook groups and on Reddit and all that stuff. I'm sure they have people that are checking things out. But if you go back and look at all the complaints, it seems like they've answered every single complaint right now. Like, leading up to this point, like, you want to talk about it's not being aimed at little kids. It's being aimed at the hardcore, the games, the third parties. Like, anybody that looks at that third party list, if they don't get excited, you have no heartbeat, you have no pulse, you have nothing. Because how you walk away from that list, not getting souped up and amped up and going, here we go. This is right. It's right for the picking for them, because they're going after hardcore games as well as their Nintendo games. Like, I just feel like this is Nintendo coming back to what we know them to be, back from, the Super Nintendo era, the N64, the GameCube, like that company that was working with everybody and doing, and you know what? The one thing that they did that nobody even brought up today, power. Nobody said anything about power today, because they looked at that list and they saw Bethesda, Activision, and those companies like that, and they went, "Oh, well, if they're on board, it must have some power to it." But
it's got some depth behind it.
But nobody said a word about power today. That's not one thing you even heard anybody talk about. Even people that have been saying all along, like, I want to know how powerful it is, they didn't say anything. It was like hype city through the roof. Like, everybody got excited.
I am super stoked. Like, this is like wicked hype. I cannot wait for March to come up. I think Nintendo has hit this out of the park. I cannot wait to see their next campaign. I'm excited to see what we got. I'm excited. Like Sean said, to kind of know what we didn't get. There's more in the pipeline. There's more games. Man, I am super pumped. I cannot wait to get my hands on this thing and give it a shot. So, thanks for having me on the show, though. I appreciate it, and I can't wait to download and hear the rest of what you guys thought as well. But,
awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it when you guys are on our show in a couple weeks as well.
Absolutely. That'd be awesome. That'd be great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Justin.
Thanks, bye.
So that was Justin Masson of Nintendo Dads.
So everybody can just like goodbye. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Everybody was here for Justin. I know.
Yeah, you got to stop. Would you stop it? But Justin's a good friend of ours, and he actually hit me up today on Twitter just before we got the announcement. It was like, "Are you guys doing a reveal thing?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." He's like, "I'll actually be in the airport at these times if you." And I'm like, "Let me talk to Sean and see what we can do." So
I love it.
Sean rushed home, so thank you for doing that, just so he could come on. That was pretty awesome.
I didn't stop for any traffic lights. I ripped through every construction zone. There's a clever little sign in our city that says "Don't rip through," like RIP. There's a little gray thing. Don't rip through. Anyway, Bobby.
So okay, so let's go real quick. So my feelings with this Switch controller. The only thing that throws me off on some of it, and I know that I'm not even going to use it for this stuff, so it's really not bothering me too bad, was the D-pad on the one is really super small.
That's a plus sign. Are you sure that's, or are you looking at the actual D-pad?
It's the D-pad on the right hand
Because
side.
I saw some people confusing the...
No. There's a little D-pad on the right-hand side that's up above the buttons. And
it's a plus sign.
It's a D-pad. Look at it. It's raised up off the thing.
I know.
The D-pad is a plus.
No, but there's a plus and a minus sign. Like the
No. This is an actual D-pad.
Okay.
It's really small. It's a D-pad that's up there. But it's for when you turn the controller to the side when you're doing the two-player thing. So it's when the two-player thing you have, but it's a really super small thing. But I don't see myself playing two players like that. Now, some people might, and more power to you. That's just not how I play. Like, I don't want to play two. Like I was saying to my wife, I'm like, if we're gonna do it, like we're both gonna get one. That's obvious. But if we're gonna play Mario Kart together, like she'll have her screen, I'll have my screen. We're not gonna sit there and split one screen in half. Like, that's the thing. So that said, the one thing I want to talk about is all the different ways that they let you play this thing. I mean, like it goes into their slogan. There's no play like it. Like, it's the truth. Like, nobody's offering all these different ways to play. And that's what's exciting about this. So we'll just go through the list. One is you just play on the TV with the Switch controller, which is when we're saying the Switch controllers, that's the two pieces that clip on the side of the screen when you go portable. But then when you're home, it slides into a cradle that's a controller, and you can play that way. I saw some people tearing that controller up. You know what? I'm not going to judge it until I actually play with it and try it. I would go the second way to play, which is the one that we're going to talk about, is you play on the TV with like a traditional Pro controller. I like that controller. Looks good. Looks smooth. I think the one thing that really got me excited in all this was one of the rumors that kind of seems like got debunked was, I love Nintendo's D-pad where it's all attached. I don't like how Sony does it where it's detached, you know, and that seems to be the one that got debunked. Like, everybody was saying like, oh no, it's supposed to be detached for the NX. But when Switch came out today, it's all connected like normal. So I love that. But when I looked at that controller, I didn't see, when I'm talking about the Pro Controller Type 1, I didn't see it to feel or look, not really feel, but like the look of it didn't give me a vibe of the current Pro Controller we have. I mean, maybe it's just...
I'm right with you. I know exactly where you're going with this.
It kind of looks like an Xbox controller.
I think it looks like an Elite controller. I think this thing looks like I can throw it on the ground and it will just bounce back up at me and it'd be perfectly fine. It looks industrial strength. It looks grippy. Like, I don't know. It looks like it has kind of like a rubber kind of, I don't even know what it looks just really tough. And that's so opposite of what I've come to expect from Nintendo. I think about even the Pro Controller, and as much as I love it, it's still, I think of it as being pretty plastic like.
But this light, it's really super light and all that.
Man, this looks heavy in your hands. I mean, obviously we won't know until we get it, but it just looked, they had a couple good shots of it. It looks tough. There's 4 buttons in the middle from what I could see. It looked like a start, a select button, and then maybe a share button or something like that. Like there's a couple more things going there. I love the utility of that. As much as I love my DualShock 4, that giant touchscreen, the touchpad doesn't really do anything. It ultimately ends up just being like a giant select button, which is fine. Like I won't hold that against it. But I like that Nintendo didn't just kind of adopt that and instead use the space that's already there on the controller for a couple new things that maybe we can do. I like the idea of a share button. That is a good thing.
I love the idea of a share button. I love really that. Do. And look, Nintendo kind of dabbled in the foray of a share type system of throwing stuff up on YouTube and all that with Mario Kart and Smash. I can see them starting to push more that way, especially with with their creators program where they're getting a good portion of the money anyway. I'm sure they want more content on the internet as it is, especially YouTube. So whatever, it is what it is. But for me personally, I'm in the content creator program, so I'm fine. Like the easier it is for me to get content up, like that video that Toby and I just did on the top 10 Mario Kart 8 tracks, that was all done with the share button per se that Nintendo offers up on the Wii U and through Mario Kart TV. And so if I can get more things like that, but just easier and more simplified, sign me up, man. If I can just click a button and start streaming on the internet, hook it up, man. I'm ready for that.
Do you think that Pro Controller is going to be like a premium product? Like, or do you think that's just like I'm not sure exactly what the price point would be for that thing. It looks expensive. Like it looks like really good.
At this point, I don't care. I'd pay.
I know. I'm ready for everything. I'll buy it all.
I'm like, hook it up. Give me it all. If it's $100, people are going to balk at it, but whatever, man. It is what it is. I'm sure people will be upset with that, but if it's a good quality controller, heavy duty and all that, hey, man, I don't care.
People did the same with the Elite controller on Xbox, and then as soon as it got in people's hands, they're like, this is the real deal. This might be the best controller ever made. And so I think Microsoft has actually opened up opportunities for other people to explore that space a little bit.
Absolutely. So then the next way to play is to play it on the go. So you have the screen and you attach the two controllers to each side of it, and you play it similar to a Vita. I guess that's the easiest way to explain it, because it's got that length to it and all that. At first I was like, okay, it's a little wide. It is what it is. Like, I'm not 100% sure I'm into this, okay, whatever. I'm playing it on the go, so I'm happy with it. Not the next way, but we're going to jump one real quick. The number 5 way that I have on this list is the Wii feel. Yeah. That's the way I'll play this thing. It has a little kickstand on the back of the screen. You kick it out, it stands up in place, and you play it like you're looking at a little mini TV with your Wii controllers. Dude, that got me excited. Like when I watched that guy on the plane, I was like, that's me going to Disney. That's me sitting in the food court in Disney. Like now I sit in the food court with my 3DS. That's me sitting in there with my Switch playing. Like, dude, it's awesome.
Couple things on this thing. I think the first thing is that it's different than holding a handheld. For some, like even though it's basically the same thing, it maybe isn't as childish. Like as an adult playing like a 3DS, like this doesn't look nearly as like this thing was made for kids. This looks like it was made for an adult. Yeah. Number 2, I guess, sort of along those lines, it's way more comfortable to play that way. I don't know if you've like sat on an airplane and played the entire time. Like if I'm flying from Edmonton to New York, it's a 6 or 7 hour flight and I can't hold that thing for that long. I cramp up, like it's uncomfortable, but it's because the screen and the controllers are all in the same place. It forces like my shoulders kind of like cave in. It gets you in a terrible posture. Like you're looking down the whole time. This way you're playing as if you're at home. Yeah. And when you're at home, you can play for hours and hours because you're in a good posture and you have all that nice stuff. So I think just it was really clever for them to do that. And again, I was not expecting the controllers when you slide them off to function because we had all the rumors about the infrared patent being they have to be attached and that's how they work. I'm not sure if that's still there, that when they are attached, that they do work through infrared. Maybe that saves battery. I'm not sure, but I'm just so excited. I was quite thrilled by 2 things with this whole reveal. Well, 3, I like the name, but the 2 things are the games that they showed, a wide variety, including some third-party stuff, which is nice. Sports.
We'll get into that in a minute, but go ahead.
And the utility of it, which is what we're talking about here. Like all the different ways you can play, which is really the differentiating factor of this console versus everything else.
So then the final way to play this thing is to do the kickstand again, snap off and detach, and play 2 players. You hand one person one, the other person takes the other, and then they turn them to the side, a la NES, a la like the Wii. When you had the Wiimote and you would turn it to the side, it's very similar to that. So you turn it to the side, and then you start playing with the people that are there. And I think that is the ingenious part. Really do. And the funny thing is like, nobody's even asking like, how does the brain work? That like throws it up on the TV, like the docking station. Like, I'm sure we'll get all that information as time goes on, but just to see how easily it worked and how it works and all that stuff, it was like
very clean.
Wow. I mean, Eurogamer, to me, Eurogamer nailed it. They were the ones that came out with this about 2-3 months ago and basically said, like, this is what it's going to do. You're going to have a docking station, a brain per se, that it docks into and plays, and then you take it off. And then the images that came out were pretty close after.
That was so funny. Did you see that one picture of the terrible sketch come out? And it's like, that is what it was. Like, it looks like a 5-year-old drew it. And it's like, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
There is one other way to play that is not on the list, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this. This is now the very first home console with portable multiplayer. This is this is a home console that you can just bring to the park if you wanted to and play multiplayer with your friends. 4 players.
Yeah.
This is game change. I feel like a lot of this is being kind of understated just because, I don't know, we're excited about everything. So how do you get more excited about the next thing? Yeah. But having like download play or just being able, again, just to pick up your console and play with, you can have like a portable, like a mobile LAN party. Okay. This thing without requiring 3G like the Vita did.
Let's do this. Okay. You've been to Nintendo World Store, Nintendo New York now. I've been there. You've been there for a big event. I've been there for a big event. Just think about that now.
Yes.
Think about you're in the store, the whole upstairs, there's people all hanging out there, and they all got their NXs, and next thing you know, you have little mini breakout parties of like Smash or Splatoon or Mario Kart and all that stuff. And it's like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me with this right now. I'm excited. I really am. Like, I am through the roof excited for this. Yeah. They just look, this is we're coming off of what? Maybe almost 10 hours ago, or about 9 hours ago we heard about all this, right? It all got broken down about 9 hours ago. We're excited. We're definitely Nintendo fans.
I need a pre-order. Bobby, that was my one thing.
I know. But you know what? Here's the thing. When we did our breakdown, we didn't say that they were going to do pre-order now. We said when they do the actual big reveal and they explain everything in January, that's when they have to do the pre-order. And that's the one thing I will say here. And I was talking to Justin before we went on the air. We were pretty close on the last reveal when we did all this. We said that they would come out with like a mini little sizzle reel, a little trailer. I wasn't expecting a trailer format. I was expecting more like a Nintendo Direct. But we all said, like, keep it short, keep it tight. Like, you don't need this 30-minute thing and all that. Like, you just need to show it off and talk about it and boom, move on. That's true. We were pretty close to that. I think we were pretty, I think we were pretty spot on with that. Now I think now we won't hear anything till January or so, and I'm fine. I think there can't.
Oh man, I can't. This is the thing. I can't. Like I wanted all or nothing. I wanted all or nothing.
But this is the thing that, and I told Justin this a minute ago. This is why I didn't want to hear about it now.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Because I'm like, man, why can't it be March already? Like, I really got to wait till March. Hey, it is what it is. I mean, I know they had to do it because they have the investors meeting coming next week, and
that's the other thing. Maybe we get more details there.
I think we get little details now. I think they put this out to kind of make the fans happy, but also so they could walk into the investor meeting and not spoil it for when it actually gets shown. If this was flip-flop, if we heard all the information at the investors meeting and then they showed this, people would be upset. But because the way they showed it was perfect. Perfect. All right, let's jump into the games real quick, okay? So, man, we picked up a lot of, and I called this. I said this was going to happen. They're going to start with Breath of the Wild. Yep. And they're going to show it, and they're going to show the guy playing it, and then boom, it's on the go, and he goes on the go with it. That to me is the quintessential thing because everybody knows this is coming to Switch. And to show it in that manner of like, hey, the guy's playing, and all of a sudden the dog barks. He's like, let me take him out to the park or wherever. And they go out, and then he's outside. And I'm like, this is amazing. Mm-hmm. So that's the one. We knew Breath of the Wild was coming. But then they hit us with Skyrim.
Yeah.
And, man, like, that to me is massive.
Yeah.
Massive. Because that's the one third party I never thought would come.
You didn't want him to come.
I didn't want him to come.
You said, keep your buggy games away from my NX.
And now I'm like, I'm sorry. I love you. I will buy Fallout 4 on Switch.
Well, you understand the appeal, and you understand it's bigger than really like Skyrim by itself. Because I probably won't play Skyrim, but I am excited by the fact that everybody loves Skyrim. Skyrim is huge. It's a cultural phenomenon. And so for it to be on a Nintendo console, it's more than just like the fact that it's on it. It's all the meaning that comes around it, and the fact that Skyrim is huge. It appeals to a ginormous number of players out there. And for them to connect Skyrim or those types of games, which is again the big part, to a Nintendo console, what more could you ask for? And it was only one of the things that we got today.
But here's the thing. Okay, this is why I'm excited for Bethesda. 2 reasons. One, I'm going to make it 3 reasons. One, you know the console has to be pretty strong to run a Bethesda game. They were showing Skyrim on there. So it's got to be a little hefty.
Skyrim Remastered.
Yes.
Also.
Yes.
People are going off saying it's a 2011 game. No, this is a game that's coming out for Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and PC right now. This is a very current game.
Yes, this is all
phenomenal.
Yeah. So that's the one. 2, Skyrim appeals to the hardcore fans.
Yes.
So that's going to start bringing back the core base that Nintendo wants to get back. These are the people. That's why it wasn't little kids playing these games. They were adults. They're speaking to us. The people that love Nintendo, they're speaking to you and they're going, now's the time. We're going back to our roots and we're going to give you what you've been crying for and screaming for and yelling for. Number 3, the fact of, could you imagine now going over your buddy's house and playing Doom? Like,
yes.
That's the thing. Like, that's what people aren't getting. Like, okay, Skyrim's a 2011 game, whatever, it doesn't matter. The fact that now you can actually link with people and play in the same room and play Doom together.
I can play Doom on the bus. That is insane.
That's nuts.
Insane.
Yeah, it's nuts. I'm all for it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, this is a home run for them. This is a home run for Nintendo. Because here's the other thing. There's been issues with Bethesda and Sony. You know what I mean? Where Sony's been called out by Bethesda. Who's to say that Bethesda, working with Nintendo, they don't get better? Meaning, I can see Fallout 4 running a little difficult on this thing. And Bethesda calling Nintendo and saying, we need help. And Nintendo telling Miyamoto to go over there and work with them. They've done it in the past. I can see something like this happen. Now, maybe not Miyamoto, but whatever. Somebody going over, working with Bethesda to go, oh, you know what? This is the problem. Boom, go here, try this, and all that stuff. Like, that's the stuff that Iwata used to do.
I was just thinking Iwata would go over. Yeah,
Iwata would definitely go over and go, hey, let me look at this. Oh, your code's a little messed up. Why don't you try doing this to this? Like, that's completely possible. You know what I mean? So this just gets me excited. Plus, the other thing that really got it ramped up for me was, okay, you see the name on the picture, and you go, oh, there's Bethesda. Oh, okay, it's going to be like everything else. Like Bethesda then tweets out later and goes, we're excited to be working with Nintendo. We're excited with the possibilities, and we have a lot of good ideas working on it. That's huge, huge, because everybody right now doesn't realize that like Bethesda and Microsoft are like bosom buddies. And the fact that now they're making a partnership with Nintendo and moving in their direction, I think this is huge. I really do. I think this is crazy good.
It's nice to see these companies come out and publicly support at such an early stage. And it's just a matter of like execution. And I think that's why there's been silence for so long. It's just locking down those relationships. That's got to be a lot of the behind the scenes work. I can't wait to see even just like, I don't know how many of these are going to be launch titles. Some of the, like, I think
I think at
Zelda,
least,
Skyrim, probably.
4. I think all of them will be launch titles, honestly.
And that's the thing. Like, it's very possible that all these are, and like, even with launch window.
Yeah.
Could be looking at one of the best launch lineups in the history of consoles.
I think the only one that might be iffy. Well, all right, let's just work through the list.
Let's do it.
So the next one that gets shown is Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
My first reaction is, oh, it's just Mario Kart. Then the internet does its magic.
Yeah.
It starts breaking it down. And I go, that's Yoshi's track. King Boo is on that track. Because my first thought was like, they're just going to port Mario Kart 8 over. Right. And it is what it is. But then when people start breaking it down, I was like, no. There's additional content here. So there was a rumor just before E3, or a feeling just before E3, that we were going to get a Mario Kart 8 DLC pack. And the reason why that was because Nintendo Europe tweeted out an image of a Nintendo 64 track, the mines or whatever.
Yep.
I forget the name of it. It's in the desert, and it's where you go up in the train track.
The train, yep.
Yes, and it says you see like a bunch of characters running into the train. They're flipping up, and it's like, I don't know the tweet exactly. It's something like, "You need to be patient and wait." # Mario Kart 8, and everybody freaked out because they were like, "Oh my god, we're getting this! This could have been what that was all about."
That's totally true.
So if that's the case, we might be looking at a remastered plus DLC pack for Mario Kart 8. Sign me up. I am all day about that. Now, the thing that people have pulled apart and realized is two things. One, King Boo is in the cart.
Yep.
Which he's not a playable character in the current Mario Kart 8. Number two is, it seems like the characters have item, like a hold item. So now when you play Mario Kart 8, everybody knows it plays Mario Kart 8. You only get one item. That's it. But in past Mario Kart 8 game or Mario Kart games, you would get an item, but you would also be able to get an additional item that would just sit and hold, and it would wait. There's a window where that is taking place. So it seems like they've made change. It's definitely not Mario Kart 8 that we know. That's what's got me excited. So I really think this is probably a launch title that they're going to come out with. And because, what did like 2 million people buy Mario Kart 8? If this sells the way Nintendo expects, and Mario Kart 8 is one of the big sellers, I think it's a huge thing to get it at a launch. It'd
be really interesting what version this is. Do you think this debunks, because it does look quite, well, a couple of things different. Like even I think the King Boo lends more so to DLC, but the two items looks like a different game.
Yes.
Kind of.
I think it's a remastered.
Yeah. Does this speak to no backwards compatibility, do you think? Because we get to Splatoon in a bit here as well.
Well, I got stuff about that too. I got stuff about Splatoon too, but I think it's remastered and there is no backwards compatibility. I think it is what it is. I think you buy the disc, you pay $60, you buy the cartridge. That's something else that showed in the video. You pay $60 for it, and you get all the tracks, all the DLC that was there before, plus some new content to make it worth the $60. Go. And maybe they do it for $50. Who knows? But we'll see what happens there. The next game, which I think is huge, is basketball, and it's definitely EA. It's EA working with Nintendo. They worked with Nintendo at the beginning of the Wii or the Wii U, and they kind of went away after a couple of games. And I think that showing this game shows that the partnership is back. They're willing to test waters with Nintendo and see how it goes. But I was excited to see the quality of the game. It was a good quality game. It wasn't just a regular HD game. Like, it looked like it was a powerful version of NBA playing, and I was excited for it, man. I really was. I was happy to see it.
I'm just trying to save you a little bit of hate. I think it was NBA 2K, which isn't EA.
Oh, probably. Is that Sega or that's 2K? 2K. No, that's 2K. That's 2K.
But it wasn't clear. It wasn't clear.
Yeah, it wasn't clear what it was. I just assumed it was EA.
We actually don't want EA basketball game. It's no good. We want 2Ks.
Yeah, I know. But what is 2K on that list?
But sports are back. The third parties are like that. That was like that hit two birds with the same freaking rock. Body. Yeah, and that's how the saying goes.
No, two birds with the same stone.
Oh, boulder rolled over two birds.
You know what?
Two lizards with the same boulder.
You are real quick. I want to look something up real quick. And I just want to see some jokes. Your jokes are Canadian, and they're not very. You're mocking.
What is happening?
Hold on. I just want to see something here.
Take your time. People will wait.
I'm just looking at the list because I want to see if 2K is on the list.
That's what I was going to do too.
And I don't see them on the list. I could be wrong. I don't see them on the list. So that means that game has to be EA. It's not an Activision game. Yeah, it's not on the list. So it's active. It's EA. It's not. But whatever. It is what it is. This is the one that got me excited now. A brand new Mario game. Like, he's running through that town. It felt like to me more of an open world type Mario game than we've seen in the past. He's running through the town and he's doing his thing, and it's just like, this is awesome. It really is amazing. And I think this is kind of this is the one game I'm not sure if we're going to get it at launch, but man, this got me excited because I thought, like, they got their stuff together this time. They really
just throw a little splash of it. That's all you need.
That's all they need. Just a little taste. Here you go. Done. And it got me excited. I was like, oh. And then Splatoon. So
and esports.
Yes, they were embracing that again.
Good for them, man. On trend.
Speaking to the kids, man, or not the kids, but the younger generation, like the gamers they're getting what people are into. That's what I took away from this. Like, I get it. Like, dude, could you imagine if they start their own league for like Splatoon or for Mario
I can't believe
Kart?
They haven't yet, but maybe
I can't believe they haven't either.
Bigger install base, but this game is huge. This is a no-brainer to bring some of the biggest Wii U games forward. It's exciting for the people who have already bought it. They know how great it is. The people who stood by the sidelines, they've heard about how great it is, but now it's on a system that they can imagine themselves buying.
Right. Yep. Now the thing with Splatoon, I play a lot of Splatoon. I've played a whole lot of Splatoon.
So I've heard.
When you look at the characters, there's a character's an inkling on the far left hand hairdo that is not in the current game.
You're amazing.
So that is what's telling me that this again is a reimagined, probably a remastered, where you're going to get all the DLC that we got. Mm-hmm. Plus, they might come out with a few more maps to go.
It looked really sharp, didn't it?
It looked really sharp. Yeah. Very, very sharp. So I am excited through the roof for this one because I love Splatoon, man. I really do, and I am amped up. I put on here kickstand thoughts, but I think we both are happy about that, right?
I'm thrilled about the kick. I mean, I'm thrilled about headphone jack.
Yeah,
headphones are making a huge comeback in 2017.
Karts. I'm so happy they're using cartridges. Here's the funny thing. Let's talk about our day real quick.
All right.
So I see this video and I lose my junk, man. Like, I'm free. And the bad thing was, like, I'm in my office all alone and I'm like, who do I talk to? So I text my buddy Miguel and he's playing Mr. Troll and he's just being a jerk the whole time.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I was just like, whatever, dude. I'm too happy. I'm not going to deal with your nonsense. So he says, well, I'm just, it's cool. I'm going to get one, but I'm just curious what the monthly rate's going to be. So I go, monthly rate for what? And he goes, well, how are you going to play the games on the go? And I'm like, dude, this is not Vita. This is not where you need Wi-Fi or you need 3G or any of that. They are cartridge-based games. Like, there is a part, and it's very quick, and if you're not paying attention, you will miss it. There is a part where the guy flips the lid down. It's a small little lid, a la 3DS, and pops in a little cartridge. That is what we're looking at. They went back to cartridges. We are no longer disc-based. Sign me up. Yep. Because I don't like disc-based games because I don't like loading times, and I love how snappy this is going to be. This was a good move in my mind. I think it solidifies what Nintendo can do, and I'm really excited for it. I really am.
I just need to buy it now, Bobby.
Well, that too. So then I did another thing. So there was a girl that works for me. There is a girl that works with me, not for me, with me. And
you said something bad about Nintendo Switch and you got rid of her.
Yeah, well, no. So
I'm just joking.
I know.
Stop. Good
I'm trying to cluster. Relax. This is why I try to just keep going, because once I get sidetracked, I forget where I'm going with stuff. So she had a Wii, right? She's had a bunch of Nintendo consoles. She's mainly a 3DS gamer. Like, she basically went portable. And when the Wii U came out, I tried to get her on board. And she's like, nope, don't want it. Too much money. Don't want to do anything with it. And I was like, oh, man, that's horrible. So today, or about 3 weeks ago, I mentioned to her about the NX and what potentially it could be. So then today, I told her they're revealing what the NX is going to be. So she was like, really? And I said, yeah, it's supposed to happen at 10 o'clock. I said, so at 10 o'clock, I'll be in my office locked in. Don't do anything. Like, don't come looking for me, because I'm not going to answer my door. 10 o'clock rolls around. I see it. I'm freaking out. I page her through the company. And I'm like, Noemi, call 102. That's my extension. Noemi, 102. And then she calls me up. I said, where are you at? She's like, I'm in the kitchen I'm photocopying stuff. I'm like, you need to come to my office now, right now. And she's like, is something wrong? I'm like, just get here now. And I hang up on her. She comes running up the steps, right? Because I'm on the second floor of where I'm at. She comes running up the steps. She goes, what is wrong? I go, come here now. You got to see this. And she comes over. She goes, what are you doing? I said, just watch this video. And I put it on and watch it. And she starts freaking out. And she's like, that is amazing. I want one. I want one. Now, here's someone that left Nintendo, watches a 3-minute trailer and goes, I'm in. I want it. Same thing with my buddy that I said who had a Wii U, bought a PS4, brought him to my office, showed him the console, showed him Switch, and he's like, I'm buying one, day one. And they're in. They said, how much do you think they are, which I wanted to talk to you about. There is a rumor floating right now that it's probably going to be $299. Do you think that's a good, fair price, or do you think it's messed up at a line?
I think it's fair. I think it's tough. Sorry, I have dog hair in my throat, in my mouth. I don't know how that happened. I think it speaks mostly to just where this console is entering in the cycle for the other two, which is difficult. It's in the middle. It's already where PlayStation 4 and Xbox One have seen significant price cuts. This is coming in as a brand new product where it's the most expensive it'll ever be in its product life cycle, and it has to come in somewhere around or maybe even below where the other two are at. So it's a challenge. This thing is doing, there's like, the value proposition is huge. For me, I don't care whether this thing is 1080p, 4K, or 720p. It's like, it doesn't matter. I'll take 540, 640p if it means that I can take Mass Effect Andromeda or Doom or some of these games on the go. I don't even care. But price point is going to be really important. $299, I feel like, is kind of maximum. $349 is just, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to really penetrate the way that they needed to, but this thing kills like two birds with one stone again for us. This is a 2-in-1 system.
And here's the thing I'm looking at. Okay, so when I looked at it, and I said the price to Noemi, and I said it's $299. I said that's the rumor. It's probably gonna be $299, $300. And she's like, that's not bad. And I thought about it. And I go, well, yeah, because you figure that a 3DS is $200. So another $100, I can play home console and on the go.
That's what I'm saying.
That's fair. But if I'm looking at it, I think the max they can get away with. It's hard because it's a Nintendo item, and Nintendo doesn't ever really charge a lot of money for their consoles. The one time they tried to, it kind of burned on them.
Yeah, they can get their money back on all the accessories. You know, there's going to be 1,000 different controllers for us to buy, a whole bunch of different ways for us to play little car mounts. You saw it on the Mario Kart little thing. You can attach it to the car seat.
Yeah.
There's lots of ways for us to spend money on this. They have to get the core console price right. I actually think that very minimal game bundles is actually important. People don't really respond. You'd like to think that they do, but they don't respond to bundled in games. They want that console price as low as possible.
Yeah.
Or at least have that as
they want to pick the game they want.
Xbox struggled with that for a very long time because they tried to add value into their high-priced console by throwing in games, and people are like, I don't care. Like, that's still a lot of money. Like, the raw dollar figure is still a lot for me, whether you try and build value into it or not. So I hope that Nintendo is paying attention to that. Give us a basic model, doesn't even matter, and people will, like, just get them in the door. Yeah. Just get them in. Or get Nintendo in your door.
I think the move, for me personally, okay, The most I'm willing to spend on this thing is $400.
I agree.
I spent $400 on the PS4.
Yep. Which is such a double standard, isn't it? Like that sucks.
Yeah, and so I'm
But they
willing
are the underdog in this.
I'm willing to pay $400 for it. That's the
Mhm.
max. My fear is that $400 is going to scare people off.
I agree.
So I hope it comes in at $300, but I'm definitely in on this. Now, personal tale here. I had mentioned that I was going to get an Xbox One for Christmas. Don't shake your head. Don't shake your head, okay?
Let's do something else.
I know you're no, because I want to talk about this. All right.
Okay, well, hurry up.
So I
Bobby.
people want to hear this story. All right.
All right, hurry up.
So I came home and I told Tony, I said, "You don't have to buy me an Xbox One for Christmas now. Just tell me you're going to get me an NX Switch, and I'm good with that." I'm like, "Just get me the Switch. I'll wait till March." I don't. She's like, "Are you going to be okay not opening anything for Christmas?" I'm like, "I am more than okay. If I know that come March I got this bad boy, I'm fine with that." So I literally pulled out of the Xbox race. I know that upsets you because you were hoping to play with me and all that stuff, but it's just not going to happen. At this moment, I'll buy the Xbox One myself, seriously. I would rather just – because I'm so worried about this pre-order stuff, and this is my fear, okay? My fear is if you don't get this thing at launch, it's going to be a while before you get it. And I don't want to play that game. I want to know that I have this console day one. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And that's my fear. My fear is that this thing is going to blow out the doors because the reaction today tells me that this is hyped. Like, there's people that have been talking trash about Nintendo for a very long time, and they're all back on the bandwagon now, and they're loving this console. I had 3 people that I know of that left Nintendo, wanted nothing to do with Nintendo, that are back now. That's just me personally. That they were like messaging me today, tweeting at me today, and just like freaking out. Now, the one didn't message me personally, but Colin Moriarty. He's been very vocal about Nintendo, not happy with the way they've gone. The only thing he said he didn't like was the name of the console, but he's like, "I'm very into this console. I think this is going to be awesome." That's huge. That's huge. That's a guy that's been talking bad about Nintendo for the last 4 or 5 years who's totally flip-flopped on it. My buddy Matt South, same thing. He had the Colin Moriarty mindset. I talked to him 3 months ago, and he's like, "I don't want to talk about Nintendo. I don't want nothing to do with Nintendo. They need to prove and they need to impress me before I come back." I text him today. I'm like, "So you in?" And he's like, "Dude, I forgot the reveal was today. I just watched it." He goes, "I am so in." He goes, "This is amazing." And then the other one was Jason Hoffner in our group on Facebook, and same thing. I sent him a message. I'm like, "What do you think?" Or he actually sent me a message. He goes, "Dude, I am so hyped for this thing. This thing is awesome." So there's 3 people that I know for a fact that were kind of done with Nintendo, wanted nothing to do with it, and now are back in the good grace with Nintendo and want something to do with Nintendo
again. As
it
should be. As it should be.
Yeah, and that's
it is how it should be.
So that makes me nervous that when this thing hits, it's going to be hard to get. So I was just like, let me shore up my deals there, because I know Tony. She's a nut when it comes to this stuff, and she'll have alerts coming out the wazoo and checking everything. She'll be on Reddit, and I seen her attack the amiibo field there, Sean, and she was very versatile and very awesome when it came to amiibo hunting. So I know I got a good woman working on my side. So
I'm sure. Let's just wait for Amazon France to reveal all the rest of this stuff for us.
So that is all, right? You think we're good? We're good?
That is all.
So that is all. Thank you guys for listening to us. iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, watching this on YouTube. This is just a totally special episode. It's actually going to go up tonight, so I'm going to put it up right away. I'm going to start editing now. But we will be back this week like normal, our normal episode, and we're going to have Toby on from the Geekcast. We're going to do an episode, and I'm going to let you guys know this now. What we're going to do is this question came from Jonathan Brown via Twitter, good friend of mine. He sent me a message and said he wants us to go, if we ran Nintendo, he wants us to go through the third-party list that Nintendo put out today and said these are third parties, and tell people what games from each company we would say are must-have at the launch of the NX. Switch. I keep saying
Can't wait.
But so that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. We're actually going to record on Sunday, not Monday like we normally do, so that way Toby can be on the show. And we're going to just break it down to like, if we ran Nintendo, what games would we say that we wanted on Switch at launch, which is going to be awesome. It's going to be a fun show to do. So follow us on Twitter at If We Ran Nintendo. Sean, see me later.
Bye.